single kill more for the entire game. Those kills across the map on energy.
Yep.
It was a very low kill game for them, despite having an advantage at the start. It's learning to push that advantage early, because even Crumbs got the jungler flash early on, and then did not continue to pressure, did not invade, did not actually push the lead and the advantage that they had received from energy.
That's one thing that I've actually noticed a lot, is that teams are okay with blowing that flash. They leave it to their laner to kind of get a very small advantage, instead of, like you said, push that flash advantage to the point where it is a for sure advantage. You get the kill, you get golden assist money. A lot of teams let that 5 minutes fall to the wayside and continue their farming patterns and laning. Seeing the bans now almost finished out, the Elise is away from Kirei. Kindred as well. Very hard hit on the jungle there towards Dignitas, as well as the AD carry and Shifter if you were to play Corki. Gangplank Kalista on the other side, a few of the top tiers that we usually see. We'll see what Dignitas rounds it out with.
Probably Lulu, I'm suspecting. Yes, that's going to be the Lulu ban as the last one. No. First pick right now, you can go with a decent amount of things.
Soraka champ?
Soraka.
I don't know if
there's Banana Man in the audience.
Oh, that's true. That is true. These Soraka chants are highly promoted today.
He has to wait for the next game with Immortals in it.
Yep.
Adrian will do it.
So it's going to be Crumbs on the Nidalee, allowing him still to go for something aggressive on this. Looking at last week, so they were purple side last week, or I'm sorry, yesterday, having second pick. So first time they get what they want. See if Crumbs can make an advantage out of the early game on this one. Kog'Maw left up throughout the picks and bans. Maybe Dignitas was hoping that with even banning the Lulu themselves and still being able to protect that Cog. We've seen teams continuously pick him still without having a huge amount of protection, just enough to shield and deal.
Yeah, you can honestly pick Kog'Maw Braum here and have that very dominant bottom lane. That's a kill lane.
For sure.
And Kiwi Kid takes the Braum away from Hakuho, and that's just a great combination right there. So I think that's a value pick if you're going to rely on Apollo, which I think Dignitas can, because he's one of the most consistent members of this squad.
There's also the Alistar left up throughout this pick and bans, which still gives Hakuho that dive in, but he's going to have to be very, very careful with that much help to Billy Boss, or I should say Apollo, with Billy Boss's pick of Kog'Maw. Over to the other side now, we see the AD carry. The bot lane is picked up immediately for Dignitas here. Probably see that counter going to Shifter or Billy Boss in the end, if they don't give it away in next pick. Crumbs and Alex each now deciding what they will choose for the team.
I want to jump back over to this bottom lane, locked in. You deny the Braum from Hakuho, which has been his most successful champion. He's played it pretty much every time he can. He can play the Poppy as well as Alistar and Thresh, but this is a good denial, and it's also an incredibly strong bottom lane. People right now still have that perception of Kog'Maw as being that hyper late game carry. Well, he can actually destroy people in the lane if he's paired with a Janna or he's paired with a Braum. It becomes an intense kill lane where Kog'Maw can actually dish out that damage. Also, his 2-item spike is his biggest spike in the game, and he actually falls off with game time because he gets towards that late game and he becomes more kind of spread out damage, so his damage numbers are really high because he's hitting multiple people with multiple on hits.
It's when you can shoot somebody and kill the support without looking at them. Yeah. You're just like, oh, I actually killed someone already.
But killing a Nautilus is going to be quite difficult for a Kog'Maw.
We saw just how powerful that Nautilus was last game. Lorlo was going pretty hard on it, so if it gets to that effect, it will be hard for Apollo to get into clear ground, to be able to sit and get his shots off.
Yeah.
Alex picking up that Lucian for freeze, one of his top plays, so he's going to feel very comfortable on that. And that's definitely something that Renegades needs as well from a carry position, is comfort in those spots. Over to the other side, Victor and Gragas are picked up. Junglers really falling to the wayside here in early picks, so the other members of the team can get what they want, but still grabbed in.
I really like this. Despite them knowing that that could, actually it is a flex pick because Hakuho does play a little bit of Nautilus support. So it could be Nautilus top, it could be Nautilus support. Saving your pick of your top laner for last is smart here by Dignitas, and I want to see what that last pick is. I assume it'll be something like a Malphite that they can run, possibly throw that in. So that's going to be Lucian. It is a Nautilus support. It's going to be Lysandre Midgrave's top. Figuring it out.
Seraph wanting to play that Graves top. Back. All right. I was just looking for what he would have played previously. All right, we have now over to the side of Dig. What do they finalize with? What is going to be in the top lane for Billy Boss? Fiora is still left up in this one. However, Billy Boss has been tending towards some of the tanks. We did see a Fiora yesterday, Cloud9. There's a Quinn in there as well, which wouldn't exactly fit with the comp, but you could Poppy.
Yeah, I think
I know you like the Poppy.
Poppy is the best for this composition right now because it's a whole unit that has wave clear from Victor, and your goal is to just keep Kog'Maw alive, and Braum's going to help you do that. Gragas is going to help you do that, and then having a split pusher on top of that really is the best idea because they're just going to pile on the Kog'Maw, especially when they have a Lissandra and Nautilus with point-and-click ultimates. Get some disengage in there, get some people out of the fight, like the Poppy pick here for Dignitas. And I like their composition. When we're talking about their champion pools. This looks like a good draft.
Now I have a question for you, Zyrene, because I haven't seen this interaction, and I apologize if I stump you. But how does Claw work with Poppy's W?
It's a blink. It's not a dash.
Right. So she's through it.
Yeah.
I was just thinking the ability to get to Kog'Maw if you see Billy Boss there, if that happens and you can instantly get him in a tomb, then that is going to be very hard to keep that Kog'Maw alive. So there is still an instant in here for Renegades, which makes that Kog'Maw play very dangerous for Apollo.
Yeah. But of course, Poppy can just stand on top of the Kog'Maw and peel people away.
Yeah.
Poppy, pretty much after the rework, completely shifted identities. She used to be the champion that runs at the enemy AD carry and 1v1s them. Now she stands on her own AD carry and gets everybody away.
She still has that I want to pull my hair out factor, though, when she gets going.
Yeah.
Just can't kill her, keeps killing. It's a bad situation.
Yeah.
However, we'll see what happens in game. We want to know who your favorite is to win this one. Tweet at LOL Esports with the hashtag RENWin or the hashtag DIGWin. We'll tally those up as we get into game number 4 here in week 7. Only 2 more weeks to go. 4 more games for all these teams after they play their one today. And this one's Renegades versus Dignitas. We are on the Rift, and we'll see how these compositions play out.
Yeah, be past that 3/4 point of the season.
So fast.
The counter chance. Both of these teams do need a victory, though. Renegades will go very far in terms of morale, could possibly pick up a bit of their season. And then Dignitas, they could put themselves at 5-9 and tie Echo Fox and put themselves in a position to start climbing into that 7th place spot, start climbing into possibly going up another rung of that ladder. So trying to get to playoffs here, and it's still alive for Dignitas.
Yep. Both teams, Renegades and Dig, play Echo Fox coming up, so they have a chance to help themselves in the rankings there and not hopefully hope other teams take them down. But both of these teams have pretty even schedules for the rest of the time as well. There's an Immortal Games there for Dignitas, which will be quite tough. But it's pretty level on both sides. So like you said, definitely going to count if Dig can get that momentum started now to go into those pretty difficult games. Starting off, looks like it's going to be pretty even, but we may just get the swap in, unfortunately. Not too much fighting in the early game on that one. We'll have to see what happens here with the junglers. This is where kind of Crumbs and the team were able to take a lead, figure out how they'd get their advantage, and then they just don't use it as much.
Yep. Of course, it is a lane swap here that's started by Renegades. So they're going to put Seraph in the bottom lane, keep that Graves in a lane that he can actually CS a little bit. So that's one of the advantages of having the Graves is if he goes in the 1-on-2 lane, he can still use his end of the line. He can still shove the wave. It will get frozen against him, and it makes it hard to push this turret. But that's the benefit of having it. And now he can go run and help the red and just delay it a little bit. So multiple options here, whereas top lane, Poppy's going to struggle to even pick up experience in CS, but he actually snuck 3 of those in there. It's kind of that game of inches with top laners and lane swaps. How much do you actually get? How much are you able to actually get without them noticing? Sometimes we see top laners sit kind of around the corner in experience range, but out of vision.
Right, or in the brush.
Yeah.
Hang out and try to Mission Impossible. It's something I was actually just thinking about before is that Seraph, as you said, the lane swap happened, giving him that open CS when he can get it, or will be able to when the lanes hit back, is that he's the guy that'll kind of push himself outside the box a little bit more, knows that the distance he can push his champion and himself to and make plays for the team. So the faster you get him going, and you saw in the little play down there to keep himself kind of built up, they're going to be able to use him quickly for the advantage. To the turret, looks like both teams are going to reach it at the same time. dominoes are falling perfectly for both teams here. Nobody's getting too much of an advantage on this start.
Yep, pretty much mirrored here across the board. Renegades slightly faster, but it doesn't mean much. It's what happens right afterward. Do they bounce it? Do they hard shove it? Because it looks like Renegades are going to go for a hard shove here with how many minions they have left.
Yep. Well, I think it's actually a good idea.
They're going to go for 2.
I think it's a good idea for Renegades. Just noticing they have the double TP. They open lanes up this far. They can make those plays if it comes to it.
Exactly. They have the double TP. They can open up the lane.
Really?
Oh, my word. Take it to Kiwi!
Quick, take the turret so you get the gold back, right? Did they shut down the turret?
Oh. I guess Apollo got solo gold, so... All right, but they don't lose too much for that, though. They do lose that top wave. That top wave is going to go straight into that turret. Now they actually are losing experience on multiple members. And Crumbs, oh my god. If Crumbs dies here... Oh my god. Oh my god.
Run!
Woo! He's mad! He's angry!
Wait a minute!
Oh my god!
No, there's another! Wait! Oh my god! All right, let's reset. Reset. Take a breath. Renegades is not. I'm sorry, Dig. That one isn't winning. Rift is winning. All right, back to lanes. We got Apollo towards the top lane. Start to take a breath, clear things up here. We're gonna have a bit of a match down in bot as we see the entire bot lane. It's gonna be, actually Hakuo and Seraph. I'm thinking that's Apollo, or Freeze rather, but he is on the Lucian. I'm getting all mixed up. Back into the game, gotta focus. We're coming up on 6 minutes. Dig is back in and organized on the map. Ping's going down towards the Wolf Spirit actually here for Renegades, so we may see Crumbs try to get some quick vision into that jungle.
Bot lane, 3-on-3. We do see top laners grouping up with that bot lane, but we do have the Kog'Maw, Apollo by himself.
Yeah, that's what they've been wanting to get.
Yeah, that's a Kog'Maw getting solo experience.
Was alerted by production that that was actually a plan to get Kog'Maw solo.
I don't buy that. Why would you use heal?
He did use heal. You are correct. Maybe it was in the choice in the end.
But I guess so. I guess they wanted to give Apollo solo gold from the turret.
At this point in the game, dying to a turret is the fastest way back.
Is it, Rip?
Yeah.
Is it?
There you go.
I think you told me that in a game once.
Yeah, I learned it from Guardsman Bob like 10 years ago. We're that old.
Have death timers actually changed a bit since then?
So where do we go from here? Renegade still focusing the bottom turret quite hard. Hakuo, I thought he was actually taking the shot there, but it had targeted the minion just under his feet. Freeze trying to push up on Billy Boss. Doesn't want to give him any ease in farming here. Still picks it up.
Usually as a top laner, you can't really get away with taking those caster minions and you're punished. Never again. That Rift Herald's like a Dark Souls boss.
That's great. Can't take him down. We'll figure it out. We got to get the walkthrough for later.
Oh, is that the eye? Is that what? Oh, I should have known.
You have to jump off the back of Baron Pit and kill him. Sword down. 400 gold lead here has been accrued by Renegades, and the back and forth we've seen so far hasn't been able to anchor in any of these kills yet. They've been still playing it safe, well, pushing themselves a little bit. Maybe they're seeing if Dignitas will put themselves in a bad spot. All right, over the wall together. Time in the red on this one. A ward just placed.
Yeah, Seraph is level 6, so contesting this would be slightly foolish. Kirei, though, he does have a ward in there. He'll look for the smite, but he's going to get zoned off by Seraph. Yeah. Good play. Wastes a lot of Kirei's time. Crumbs hits 6. Seraph with a level advantage because Graves is able to pick up that sneaky farm. This is a long lane.
That's Hakuo already wanting to get out. They say we're all right with that wave control, and we'll take it back to it. Crumbs does not have any mana, but he's in Cougar form.
All right,
good to go.
Right. They have to walk through this time. Put the Game Genie in.
Got it. Up, up. Down, down, left, right.
Oh!
Got him.
Fat loot for Crumbs.
And a shutdown on the Rift Herald. So we're waiting on just a few more. Actually, the call was picked up late. I think that says.
Yeah, so you back again in second.
Right.
Kirei though with ulti.
Oh, Hakuo bounced back. Cannot dodge the barrel. Goes down. First kill coming in for Dignitas as they group towards the bottom side here. There was going to be a roam from Shifter, but he stays mid on this one. He'll get wave, but they won't be able to fight off Alex Ish as well.
Yeah, and giving that first kill over to Apollo on that Kog'Maw gets him towards that Rage Blade, gets him past that awkward part where you're sitting on just a blasting wand and a pickaxe. Not that great. You really want to get towards that, finish it, get your Runaan's Hurricane, and have that 2-item spike. Whoa, what?
Billy Boss,
all right.
He straight in, hits him from the wall. Seraph's going to have a dash over the wall possibly, but he tries to go straight ahead. That's the ultimate from Billy Boss. The laser in the Chaos Storm is able to pick up Seraph, as we were talking about earlier, likes to go a little too deep and push himself too far there.
Yeah, he was lightning fast on that first heroic charge. That was insane. Oh, okay. So it's when you watch it from a visual perspective in the visual perspective. I was gonna say it's a slight visual bug.
Like, where are you going?
He eased, and because he was actually slightly around a corner, the first part of the animation kept him on the corner, and then he just slingshotted past. It's quite weird to watch.
Working as intended.
Yeah. It is incredibly fast.
Clarification.
It is quite fast, though, and it's a 1.6-second stun at rank 1, so it keeps him down, able to get both charges of the Q off, and then able to pick him up there. So Billy Boss, despite being down in CS before that, now has a kill to his name, or now has an assist to his name, and now also is caught up in CS.
Crumbs is living over here right now. They're getting pretty much the same treatment on the bottom side of the map. You can already see the wards from Dignitas there.
Yeah, the other thing that's really good about this on the top side of the map, jumping over to this part, is that Billy Boss still has his flash. So Seraph always has to think about where Billy Boss is, if he can engage, if the flash E would actually be enough. Billy Boss was level 4 when Seraph was 6, and now he's level 7. And he's about to get dove. So, good luck, Billy.
He may have gotten that ping.
I don't think they saw. I don't think he saw
the fog of war there. W goes off for Billy Boss. You can see him able to walk in. Those weren't gap closers, so they quickly take him down. The second tier turret should feel like a safe point at this game, so that's good by Renegades to use that.
He TPs, Alex TPs to mid so that he's able to continue wave clearing, and there's no turret to counter. That's one of the benefits of Graves top again. You're constantly shoving waves in, and up against somebody like Poppy, who doesn't really have that great of a wave clear tool in her kit, struggles to clear these casters, you're going to have minions at that turret eventually. And they had good ward coverage.
In Irene, there's basically wave clear in every lane.
Yeah.
Have Freeze, Alex Ish, or Seraph in one of those. So it's going to be very hard for Dig to get these pushed in. Shifter on their side can stop it if it gets too strong in favor of Renegades once they get to that base. So right now it's just about pushing waves, using that top one here for Renegades to get themselves a bit of a lead, but not keeping an eye on those objectives too much. Losing Dragon, they've already got Rift Herald, so I can't say really not too much. But losing out on this first one isn't too bad of a thing. Dignitas picked that up, headed back towards the jungle. This is going to be Blue over to Shifter, and they're just holding this one off so Blue can also go over to Alex East. His teleport's down. We may see a bit of a kind of snooze button here for Renegades plays.
We might see that snooze button come through, but Crumbs actually built challenging Smite, and he's on a jungler that typically doesn't build Sightstone. So I want to see what he does with this aggressive Nidalee pick. They did first pick it to try and give him something that he might have more early game pressure on. So far, it's been okay. But I think that's the thought process behind picking this Nidalee and going with this particular build. Because Crumbs is known for his vision game. That's how he typically likes to play League of Legends.
And he absolutely feels comfortable on this Nidalee. It's what he took both into Immortals and TSM in their games. He was able to solidify a few kills within that, but you know he feels confident if he's taking it against the likes of those teams in the middle. Ultimate's used there by Shifter. And this could be Crumbs looking for the dash dive. Kirei there to disengage, so he does not choose to do so. But this means that Renegades is winning in small bits here. Now the mid lane is theirs after the top lane victory over Billy Boss. Now bottom lane can have more pressure, and Renegades, again, working that early game. Can they keep the lead, though? That's been their bane.
Yeah, exactly. They've been able to get leads in 8 out of their 13 games. Now, pretty much 9 out of 14.
Right.
Doing an amazing job in that early game, even against teams that are way above them in the standings. But now they're just spilling over. Top lane, when they had that lane swap, the kill that they got at the bottom, and now Seraph takes another turret, and that's going to be 4 turrets, 4 Renegades in the early game here. They just have pretty good map pressure right now.
So much gold to spike tier items, but it feels like Dignitas is saying, we're all right. We'll be able to defend a second tier turret, maybe. Still going to be a difficult task. Crumbs meets Keyray over the wall.
Uh-oh.
Flash down from that
jump.
pop. He is going to get popped as well. Shifter is just picking up these walk-around kills. Now he's 2-0, and he's hardly left that mid lane.
Oh, Crumbs. You know, this Rift Herald spot, just the spot in general, causing problems.
It's all that void residue, man. It's bad juju.
Oh, man. Just that area. There's something.
Yeah, I mean, it turned Scuttle Crab into a giant monster. It's definitely something bad in there.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
I don't know how much I trust that area. And then this gigantic worm comes out of there.
As a jungler says that, you're the one who always wants to fight it.
No, I'm the one who wants to bait around it. I don't want to fight. You put me in a situation where I have to
this one more time.
Flashes.
Flash burst.
Body slam.
Did he get body hop there? Ooh. Oh, there was the hop.
Yep. Yeah, you can't hop with the steadfast presence on. It counts as a dash. Of course, Death's Dance, first item for Seraph in the top lane. We almost never see this item, and I've heard that it's good on Graves for the physical damage because it's not actually lifesteal, it's physical damage vamp. So that's 15% of the physical damage from his spells and attacks. And then he also survives a little bit longer with the change to bleed. So not going for a flat penetration build. I guess it wouldn't be that good against Billy Boss either, since he goes for the Sunfire Cape first. Go for just flat AD, go for even more, just killing and sustain power. So it makes sense. I think I've seen that item mostly on Aatrox.
Yeah. I think, what is it, Trace? He did something very, very similar where he just bought a bunch of longswords and went for the turrets because Graves can crush turrets. Yeah. Just not even worry about killing his lane. I think it was Tom Kench at the time. Instead of the serrated Dirk.
Oh, yeah.
Serrated Dirk, he went for flat damage. And just
it's one of the ways that juggle aggro. Get the off tank. Where's the heal?
Boom.
Deadly boss mods. We need it now. Oh, they got it. They're way too over-leveled for this objective. This dungeon's too easy now.
He had to use his 24-hour cooldown.
Yeah. There's shout out to FF11 there.
3-1. 16 minutes in now. A 4K gold lead for Renegades. Something they have been wanting for so long. Usually they get to 2, maybe 1,000 gold. Now if they're able to use this, they can really start to gain momentum, figure out where their wins can come from. Because right now Dignitas is not able to stop just this lane-to-lane composition that Renegades is trying to put together.
Yeah, Renegades are playing a composition that wants to go from lane to lane, lots of shoving potential. You talked about all of the wave clear that they have in every lane, and that's what they do. You push waves, you have Nidalee skirmish through the jungle, Lissandra run through the jungle, and able to pick people off, and you catch them in rotation to catch those waves that you've been pushing out much faster than the enemy. Dignitas' comp on the other side, though. Kog'Maw, he's hitting that 2-item power spike. He's got a lot of gold. And they also have Shifter, who's got 2 kills on this Victor. He can stop the wave clear in the siege. You can also stop a bit of the wave clear with the Braum. So Dignitas does have tools. It's just their tools are better in unison when they group up together. And finding that fight is going to be difficult.
Renegades has been doing a good job at figuring out, once they started that swap, how to also keep Freeze up in CS. When Apollo was getting all that free, those guys are nearly matched still. So Freeze still a very formidable opponent there. Call all done. He's going to finish up his rapid fire.
Yeah, despite being down a kill, he's actually up 800 gold because of the call, because of his CS. Of course, top lane, Billy Boss is going to have some alone time with this turret because of the stopped back with Seraph.
This is like finally the first time Billy Boss has actually been across the river with this turret, or one of the few. Finally gets it to go down. Dignitas is able to get themselves on the other side of the map and start to get maybe even a few wards in. Nothing they can really use yet, but they can stop what Renegades has been snowballing.
Yeah, Renegades, they want this first dragon to continue that snowball, and that's why they didn't go top to put somebody up there to deal with Billy Boss. They felt a back and then running all the way up the lane wouldn't be the best way to do it. He's still pushing.
It may still be there. They have the TP.
Here comes the TP.
The TP from Billy Boss, actually. It's going to be just on the top side. Renegades has already called out of this. You can see Alex each using the scuttle speed to get one last attack in as Crumbs goes for a bit of a pincer move, but probably would have cost him his life. Just deterring Dignitas from going for any more fight. They're going to look to mid.
Inside track.
Renegades get back to focus on it.
Inside track here. The wave clear is not here just yet.
Yeah.
Sandra off on the side. And some poke.
Yeah, they do get back in time.
I'm actually surprised. I'm surprised Kirei didn't go for a body slam flash on Alex, try to knock him into his team. You can guard that Lissandra land point pretty easily. If you're expecting her to self-ult or ult you, then at least you get that cooldown out, and Seraph wasn't there.
The Renegades were all right with taking Dragon and saying, give him a little bit.
Yeah.
Give him the room. If they want it, we have Dragon. Playing this one very smart. 2,500
gold lead. So this has been the problem for Renegades, is they get all of these turrets down, they get this advantage, and then they don't seem to know how to close it out, how to get to that next step. What is that next step past that? And it's warding up inside of the enemy jungle with hard to remove vision. You usually put removable vision in your jungle. If you have blue trinkets, you just, when you have the moment, just throw it in your own jungle just in case, and those will start stacking up over time. So that if you eventually lose a team fight, they run through your jungle, they're like, how are there 10 wards in here? And then it stops them. And it spends more time where they're actually clearing stuff in your jungle.
It's the little things.
Put pink wards in your own jungle, stop that. But when you're in this position, it's better to have that forward pushing, put those pink wards in the river, deny them river vision, and then put your hard to remove vision near their camps. Go test the wolves every time. Like, it's okay to put all your wards on one side of the map. Just have an idea of where you want to play next.
Yeah. Usually you see teams will place a ward and then, while not being able to defend it, also just kind of say, we wanted that ward there, and it gets cleared, and it doesn't really provide any value. Here you can see those wards you were just talking about, the forward ones, or what will be placed forward, is the pinks still sitting in inventories while there are many on the map. Those to be inched closer and closer to their enemy's base as they feel more comfortable. As of right now, you can see it's just the trinkets, a lot of sweeps going out here. This is what stops that time. This is what kind of slows Dig down as well. And Renegades will have time to defend.
Yeah, Renegades, they need to defend, though, because they're looking for that Seraph push. It's slow, but this is what Seraph is good at. Seraph is kind of like a mini Darshan. He'll show up when he knows he can win. But Dignitas, they might have to seed this, or Renegade might have to seed this. They don't have the numbers. Nice block there, but still the mini wave gets cleared out, and that's going to allow Alex and Seraph to both push. It's double TP, so if you answer them with anybody, you're either getting their TP, which Billy Boss does not have, or Shifter's going to have to walk it out.
Shifter's ready to 1v1 this one, or at least know that he will push Alex each out without too much vision from Renegades on that top side. That's the only thing that's going to happen. Bot lane, Seraph, you can see full health still as he backs away from Billy Boss. Dig now actually has, or sorry, Renegades has Dig backing up in a big wave here, very spread out. May be able to get something of their own as they move now into Dignitas' jungle. Are they saying it? You can see what they're thinking in their mind. Saying, can we? Maybe?
I don't know. Let's dive in. We did it before. Do it again.
Oh, they waited a little bit. They're fully under the turret. That means every member is going to have to present themselves in a dangerous spot for Renegades. Letting Billy Boss go that far. The tomb didn't get on as fast, I think, as they wanted it. And now Crumbs is going to pay for this engage. And that's Dig rotating from top all the way to bottom to get themselves a good play on that.
Oh, man. Engaging on that tank. Billy Boss didn't even have to use Flash to get out of there. And just a really deep dive. Dignitas was there to answer. And now they have this numbers advantage. It's hard to take anything on the map, though. You have to push so many minion waves in that bot side to even get to that turret. It looks like it's just going to be mid-turret here, and they still have to watch out for the wave clear or freeze, and that's it. Keep those minions alive. Blah, blah, blah.
And turrets fall.
Sounds of the game.
2-0 for both Shifter and Apollo. We'll see this again.
Yeah.
So it's the call claim over. I thought it was like now, right? Or now.
Crumbs. Oh.
Did he? Oh, he
yes. Crumbs.
I heard that in my left ear for a second. I was like, wait a minute.
He flashed.
That's the flash.
He was way too far from the wall. And when that play was starting, he was way too far back. He went off to the left when Alex clawed in. And then he went across the wall and he threw his spear, and it was still about 50 range too short. So he didn't get the large leap towards Billy Boss. So 0-1-3 right now for Crumps.
Yeah.
One of those deaths, though, of course. Not worth any gold.
That's true. Rift Herald.
Yeah. It's not there anymore.
Just his big brother now. 45 seconds on the clock for next Dragon. We saw Renegades was able to get number 2, which was their first. So both teams kind of stunted on getting to 5 too quick. Looks like Dignitas is going to take a breathing moment here as well. Billy Boss happy with living in that bot lane. They know Dignitas that they are getting everything back that they want very slowly here. They have lost quite a few turrets in that early game, which spiked out Renegades' items. But with plays like that, they're very much still in this game. Still 2K down. Renegades having trouble growing that lead.
Yeah, 2,000 gold. They haven't been able to plant that lead like a seed and make it grow at all. It's basically been sitting there the entire time.
Yeah.
Once they get a lead, kind of, I mean, I guess they'd be the worst bankers of all time. I'd get no interest on this lead.
Don't invest.
Yeah, it's actually quite shocking because a lot of teams have learned to actually balloon their lead quite quickly. And look at what the top teams do, where they'll still take risks. If you're 1,000 gold ahead, then you're basically saying, okay, we have 600 more gold in this turret dive. How are we using it?
Yeah, who
and
has
then they continue to do it.
Right.
And then that gives them even more of a lead, which makes the next turret dive even easier. So
there we go.
They're just not taking these risks once they get a lead. And you can see Dignitas have map pressure again when Renegades are up in gold. This happened yesterday to Renegades when they were up against Energy, and then they let the game get away from them.
Still on double TP. Both of those are going to the mid lane as Billy Boss has put bottom in a wave area that wouldn't really make it plausible for Seraph just to TP down and try to push. They're going to try and rout Dignitas here. They have him on both sides. This is going to be a very interesting fight. Apollo's getting hit. There's the collateral damage across from Seraph. Here's the claw coming in from Alex as well. He gets exhausted immediately, but they're still able to drop down. Kiwi Kid flying now through this corridor. They've got to be careful about the fight. They know that Billy Boss is just on the backside. So they take what they have. 2-1 there. Renegades is able to drop both Keyray and Kiwi Kid, but it doesn't look like they'll get much more.
Yeah, it was a lot of just whooping up there and coming in from different angles, which is what the Renegade squad wants to do. And Dignitas was not completely grouped up just yet when that went off. Seraph throws all of his damage across multiple members, and it looked like Kiwi Kid was trying to disengage that fight with his ultimate, but Hakuho was right in the front. It does cost his life, but of course, more members of Dignitas go down in return. It's worth it for them.
See this one more time. So it is, there it is. This Kiwi Kid and Hakuho, the two guys that were saying one of us is going to initiate.
Uses ulti. Apollo, ulti goes on to him. And then here comes all of the damage. Seraph walks up, kills Kiwi Kid. And then the slow, Alex with the self-ulti. That ulti is actually hard to hit sometimes. I will give it that. With the travel time, sometimes it's hard to hit. Point blank, not a problem. You can actually hold that ultimate and flash while channeling it so you can release it afterwards. So sometimes when I'm really unsure, I just flash on top of the person where I'm like, like
after a full charge.
If you have to get that person out of the fight, do it.
Do it. You heard it here from Zyrene. You can tell your teammates in game.
Yeah, because it's one of those fights where if I don't get him out of this fight, then we lose. Totally worth it.
See, 3 Farsight, 2 upgraded sweepers to 2 Trinket, 2 Farsight and a sweeper. So Dignitas is looking to make sure we can get a little bit farther. We'll place it down by the wolves. That means we can get in to place these wards. Being very careful with going forward here.
Yeah, Dignitas, their vision is actually quite good in terms of where it's going on this map. They have removable wards. You can see they're placing their removable wards in their own jungle. And hold on, cleanse.
Instant cleanse from Shifter. Now it's on to Keyray. He's pretty tanky to be the focus. Kiwi Kid throws up the shield. Billy Boss now in the middle of the fight. Nobody can really get in just yet. Now the W is down, and he's on to Seraph. Forced to flash away, and that seems to be the key here for Dignitas, is to get themselves out of this fight as Renegades is able to just stand tall, really.
Yeah. Seraph, the substitute, coming up big in this match, and that was a fight that Dignitas, the TP came in. That should have been a canceled TP because Apollo was not there and he was not going to get there in time either.
Quick play once again. It's kind of more of a hit by Alex each, and then again the walk-in by Renegades. We've only seen that twice. to be the follow-up to fights. They're really not getting these deep fights. It's kind of just, hey, let's crash into each other.
Yeah.
Here they go for Shifter. He cleanses, and the crash.
Yeah, Keyray could legitimately just ultimate there and disengage it. You can see 4-on-3 shows up. Billy Boss actually completes the TP.
Right.
And now it's 5-on-4, and Apollo is not going to make it to this fight.
He's cruising, but not fast enough.
It basically just came down to numbers at that point. I mean, quite simple to execute it after that. Renegades saw that Apollo was top, and there was no way he was going to make it there.
No.
And then Billy Boss actually completed his TP, and that was the beginning of the end. Oh, speaking of TP though, Apollo.
Nice Void Ooze right across the path of Crumbs. Slows him down just enough. And a TP wasted.
Yep, has that max second, so he has that 52%
could
slow.
Backfire quite
Billy
a
in the
bit.
wall.
Could backfire. That's going to be one. Alex's ult is up. He'll be able to save himself. So he goes for the Glacial Tomb. Still goes down. That's going to be the laser from Shifter. It was obviously enough. And we still have Seraph pushing the bottom lane right now.
Which means that Baron could be on the table for Dignitas right now. They have a Kog'Maw. They have shields.
Oh, do you 50-50 though?
What you do is you
turn
use
Crumbs and
no, you use the Poppy ultimate to get Crumbs out of there.
Oh.
And then you smite it. Well, you hope. Apollo did eat a spear though. This could be Dignitas.
They're playing with fire. All right. Poppy ultimate's up. Hammer may not hit.
No.
He chooses the wrong direction. That's one hit in. He pushes Crumbs out. Now Crumbs can't dash in or out. He flashes. That's the hit in for Keyray. Smites down Baron. Dig it. Baron is going to come out on top as Renegade's health bars begin to drop. That's Seraph now who's going to get hit up next. The TPs were used to get into this fight as well, so Dig gains quite a bit in the entire play.
But Seraph was pushing the entire time on the bot side, and you can see still up in gold, about 3,000 gold, despite that even being a 2,500, 2,400 Baron power play already. That was just disaster from a macro perspective. You lost your mid laner, you didn't have Seraph even TP in, so Seraph continued to just push, which was the right play at that point. But Dignitas, oh man, that was so risky. The spears were coming through over and over again, and if those had landed more consistently, if they had landed on the right people, because he hit Apollo, and if he had Seraph TP in earlier, that could have just been Graves damage across the entire team. Good play by Billy, though, to actually body slam Crumbs away after he had missed the Keeper's Verdict.
Keep hitting him. Had to make him flash. More fingers before you have to smite.
Exactly.
Better than nothing. 2 Zanyas have come out from that last fight, or 1, I should say. He already had that in the Glacial Tomb onto Alex each, but now Crumbs is going to have his own Zanyas, so he can mitigate death. Pretty good. Don't want any of that coming home. 8-5, 30 minutes in here. 2K gold lead does not seem to shrink, but Renegades can't seem to balloon it, as we've been saying.
I think Dignitas.
What's that?
I was going to say, I think Dignitas are about to catch up, though.
Oh, yes. I was like, did I say Dig?
I thought you were done.
Looking at that bottom turret open now. It is off Baron, but Baron is not off of Dignitas yet. So if Renegades can push this up over time back to right in front of the base, they're going to have a field day going around the horn with how fast they can just make it back and forth.
Yeah, trying to get that control. That's been the struggle here for both teams, is wrestling control from the other. Finally, Hakuho completes his Eye of Equinox because he's been sitting on just Sightstone and 3 wards the entire game. And then Crumbs basically using his trinket as opposed to having the Tracker's Knife, which I call it the Smite Stone.
Like it. Maybe it could work for Riot.
So their vision has actually been quite poor on the side of Renegades in comparison. That's just going to be muscle down. Here comes Alex.
Brute forcing it down. Apollo's in a real bad spot. Kiwi Kid's low. So is Apollo, but somehow, as soon as Dignitas wakes up from the fight, they are angry, and they start going for the members of Renegades. Alex and Hakuho are down. There's still DPS to be had here, but it has to hit the right targets and be in a safe spot, and that is danger, danger for Seraph. He goes down, and they're going to be able to stand tall at this turret with the minion wave just behind, but not a super amount of damage for the turret. We'll see how far they can get.
Yeah, and Shifter 6-0-3 on this Victor, and he's been farming like a madman. Baron buff, these minions are hard to kill, gives them a lot of time with these turrets, and even though Apollo went down, they still had a lot of damage in this fight because Shifter's just been in the background. You're focusing on the Kog'Maw. Protect the Kog'Maw comp, you usually have a type of Lulu mid or supported mid. Well, let's just wave clear and pure damage here to have a pure magic damage threat. And it's coming up big. Now he's got a lot of penetration, and he's also got movement speed slows, so it's even harder to navigate these fights. Alex comes in from the back, Crumbs is already low. Great ultimate here from Alex, and the follow-up, Freeze trying to get in, Kiwi Kid goes down, and then Freeze gets knocked out of the fight by Keeper's Verdict, so the damage goes in Dignitas' favor, and Freeze just got back. That was the big turning point there. Poppy ultimate can create a numbers advantage instantaneously, and that's how Billy Boss used it in this fight to get them the lead and get them this inhibitor turret. Good recognition there of the opportunity from Dignitas, muscling it down, and now we have a gold that's even. Finally, the 2,000 gold, it's gone now. We're in the late game, Renegades late game.
Not gonna look good. Inhibitors open on both sides. This is the double TP comp that should kind of be making plays around you, making you spread yourself thin to go to that TP lane so you don't get TP'd on. And Dignitas has kind of been running around ever since they dropped those first tier, since they dropped those first tier turrets, finding a way into the fights. Now, it's starting to work out for them.
Of course, Dignitas now push up the mid wave. You rotate between mid and bot with the open inhibitor.
Oh.
You get a tier 2, you get an inhibitor. Either is fine, and Apollo's at that power spike point right now. 4-item Kog'Maw, head of the curve a little bit too.
So crazy.
Have to watch out for it. Kiwi Kid should be a little bit further up, though.
His flash is down from last fight. That's definitely a call that Renegades will know to work off of. The Poppy ultimate hits. That's a good hit onto Kirei. They can't really get the ult out, but will they be able to finalize the fight? This is where Dignitas, again, gets to turn back around and do whatever they want. Alex each goes down. It's like they can wait out the first initiation of the fight. Whoever used their ults first is the one to go down here, and Dignitas has made that true twice. As they make it out with the inhibitor this time, they can just head towards top if they want.
That was an incredible fight from Dignitas. We saw Keeper's Verdict be used right as the fight was picked by Renegades. One member goes flying away. Then when Alex each comes into the backline, because you know he's going to flank, immediately, Kirei, Gragas ulties, delays. They buy time the entire time. And Kiwi Kid throws down his ultimate to make it even slower for members to get back in from Renegades. And then they just focus down Alex. Really beautiful layering of their disengage to make sure that Renegades, even though you have Zhonya's and you have the ultimate, like watch this, Keeper's Verdict goes off, boom, knocks Nautilus out of the fight, Alex into the back line, Seraph peeled away, Alex now ulties,
unbreakable.
There goes the explosive cask, Crumbs and Freeze get knocked back, here comes the ultimate from Braum, and then they just collapse on Alex and they get to chase down Hakuho. Really well played there from the disengage.
It's really one of those fights where it looks fast, but there's almost enough time in the calls for say, now this, and it just looks so clean from Dig in those fights.
Yeah, basically when those fights happen, you say, I'm doing this.
Right.
You're like, I'm gonna peel first, or I'm gonna knock somebody away.
And you really can't blame Renegades for going for that. They had halftime down in Apollo's flash. He'll have it back up for next fight to be even harder to kill. Yep. It's almost a go for broke moment there when you have to get him because they would have gotten so much more.
Yeah, Alex is going to continue to try and flank here. I'm expecting more self-ultimates, especially now that QSS has come through for Apollo.
Yeah.
So it's much harder to keep him locked down. This is just a scary squad. Dignitas, Shifter, 8-0-3. He's been, like I said, working in the shadows most of this game.
Really
comes up and blows somebody up
as well, just in laning phase. We used to know him as to be one of the mid laners down in CS to his opponents quite often, almost all the time. Now, sticking even or even having a lead and then being very impactful towards the mid game is that Shifter we used to know, getting triple kills on Ziggs, popping off on fights.
Yeah, he was also
towards the late game.
He's also the KDA leader for a very long time.
Yeah,
seasons back.
It's true.
And it's funny because I look at the Dignitas victories, the 4 of them. Between the 4 of them, Shifter only has 1 death. So when Shifter is going off, Shifter is going off, and he's getting all of these kills and snowballing and dominating. This might be another game of his where they win with him not having a death.
We saw a composition like this yesterday with, Alex each goes in. Deja vu, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see if it's Dig that falls down this time. That is going to be the health bars of Dig. Very, very red, but not down yet. Billy Boss falls. A Cathian surprise from Apollo finally comes through as Renegades is getting the last hits that they want on the members of Dignitas. 37 minutes in. It was 3 fights it took for Renegades to find that one they wanted. And now they're going to try to make a move. Do they actually push all the way up and attempt to do Baron or set up for Vision?
Oh, yeah, I definitely think you go for the Baron here. You have damage.
Yep.
They don't have Vision.
I'm always down for 50-50 Barons if Kirei tries to go hard on this. Looks like you won't, though. Unfortunately, Renegades have been holding their breath. Kirei is on the waddle up right now, and he may make it in time. Level 16. Some good damage on his smite, but he has the same smite damage as Crumbs. Barrel's prepped. It's charging up. Is he going to go over the wall? Great hold by Renegades to stall on Baron, so he couldn't body slam and just make a good hit. Dignitas is going to be forced to pretty much walk to the back here of Renegades, or walk with them on their back and not let them just teleport home.
Renegades once again now having a lead, 2.5K. This fight was Renegades layering their CC. Alex gets a great W after the flash. 4 members, Apollo QSS's, he gets Nautilus ultimate, and now Poppy's in the front line trying to peel. Doesn't peel correctly, and then Seraph's burst across the team ends up picking up Apollo, as well as all this residual damage that's being dealt with the team. We talk about their wave clear, they have champion clear too in terms of AoE damage on the Renegade squad.
Alright, so Dig comes back out, picks up the dragon. 5 have been killed, but they are sorted out among Renegades for 2 and Dig for 3. What a game so far. We'll see how this Baron can be used now. Very much needed to really stop the bleeding that was just continuing for Renegades.
Yeah, Renegades, they were going back and forth. The bleeding was almost, it was just a stagnant. They weren't growing their lead, and then it became, okay, we're giving away advantages over and over again. And then that was how their composition should operate against the Kog'Maw and the Victor. Alex is a key part of how they engage these fights because they're trying to flank from every angle. And that time, he did not get disengaged, and the disengage was not used properly from Dignitas on the main unit. You want to spread out for the Renegade squad.
All right, teleports, they are up. See where Renegades continues to push. Seraph obviously is not going to be leaving bottom lane here.
Yeah, he's going to continue to split push. It's one of the Seraph specials. And Renegades, with the substitute top laner here, they might be looking at getting their 2nd win of the season.
Yeah.
And getting that moral victory and then start climbing up the standings. Dignitas is right above them as well. So if you can catch Dignitas, you can put yourself in a really good position, even whether it's going for playoffs or whether it's better positioning inside of the promotion tournament. They both matter a lot.
It's very much a thing that can happen. Looking at the end of Week 8, or Week 8 in general, Echo Fox Immortals for Dig. And then their Week 9 is Liquid CLG. So those games are very much there for Renegades to capitalize on and reach the same amount of wins as Dig if they falter here coming into the following weeks. And the pressure's on towards the end of the split. That's when it starts to happen.
And there's a lot of pressure on Renegades because there were pretty decent expectations of them coming in. Alex Seach had a name made for himself seasons ago, and then you brought in Freeze, his AD carry that everybody was saying was completely underrated because he's been performing really well, but his team has never been completely on the same page as him. And now it's a little bit more of that same story this season, and they haven't been able to find that synergy. And Crumbs, no, he also has a reputation for being an LCS player and being a shot caller of teams. Well, the shot calling on this squad has always been good early, and then it's fallen off. Is this the game where Renegades get it all together?
A lot of the teams were able to figure them out and close those games out fast. This isn't a moment that they experience a lot, that late game, that 4-5 item that comes down to the last moment where you lose a member, you lose an inhibitor. And they just lost Alex Each in a quick fight by Dignitas pulling the trigger in front of their base. This could absolutely be a push down mid lane for that 2nd tier. It may not mean too much more after that.
Alex is going to, Crumbs is going to try to backdoor this inhibitor or possibly look for it. But also the fact they saw him on wards, there's the threat that he could go for it, and that peels members of Dignitas back. Is he going to get caught?
Whew. Just on the whisker. He's good.
Yeah. Kitties usually can't resist lasers, but in this case, not a real kitty. I guess he actually just morphs forms.
That's true. The heritage of loving lasers isn't there.
Oh.
So, items coming to fruition now. Infinity Edge up there for Seraph on top of Malma Mortius.
That's an insane build. The crit is going to allow him to have 10 pellets when he crits, as opposed to the 8. That's what the Infinity Edge will do for him. Full build, 1 lifesteal, but also when he gets low, he does have those double shields with the Sterix as well as the Monk. Typical Graves build, but then he's also thrown in a little bit more on top of it. Lord Dominic's to try and get through that Poppy, as well as the Gragas and the Braum. So there's a decent amount of tanks here.
Yeah,
so good purchase
built up on Kiwi Kid. Did not notice that till now. Sure, I glanced over it before, but across with all the other armor, it's definitely making this a difficult one. He tries to pop Freeze towards him. Freeze actually used his Mercurial Scimitar on that one, so that could be useful for Dignitas in their next fight. If they have the chance to go for it. With the ult being down, they may just hold off.
That was actually not going to throw him into the team. Throw him off to the side. He still QSS'd it.
Yeah, they just hit.
Oh, flank.
Wow, what a push off. It goes back to Apollo. Kiwi Kid throws the Fisher out, completely zoning out Renegades from coming in to help. What is Alex on the right side of the fight? They still have to be careful. That's going to be Kiwi Kid. He goes down first. That's the guy that's peeling mostly for Apollo. Can Apollo stay safe? Because everybody's flashing in his face. Billy Boss gets hit. There's the double tap from Fees to finish him off with the passive. And Crumb stays alive with the Zanyas.
And that's a beautiful fight there for Team Dignitas. What happened from the side was Renegades actually, Alex, he tried to get in. And what happened was he decided not to go on the first one, and it baited Dignitas,
Yes.
who's beautiful play there. Hakuo, though, he's checking for Shifter.
Oh.
Because the rest
back
of
into the party tent.
Oh,
that
boy.
upgrade on the W bounces him back in. Enough for the kill from Shifter. And the team is actually needed in the base right now. It's going to be Nexus turrets for Renegades, looking for win number 2 on the split, and 15 to 12.
Oh,
It's
wait,
a spawn
wait.
from Shifter. They don't want that, but they don't know his ult is down either, so they might even be able to take this. They're still worried about Apollo. They're giving a lot of respect here to the DPS of these two members of Dignitas, and it is Renegades out.
Okay, I messed up and said it was a beautiful fight for Dignitas. Let's take that one, put it here. That's a beautiful fight for Dignitas. The previous one, well coordinated from Renegades. We'll take a look at it again later on, but this could be a push down the mid. They'll be able to get this tier 2 turret with Apollo and Shifter. And Dignitas are just striking back. They have a huge minion wave in the top side as well,
Do they
pushing
go
this inhibitor.
straight inhib, or do they...
It looks like they can't
go
decide.
straight in. Hey, yeah, they couldn't decide for a moment there, so they go towards the top side. They do know now that they just want to go for the inhibitor with 27 and 30 seconds left on Crumbs and Alex. That's 3 members up. They can crowd control them and still get some kills here.
Yeah, they have 2 members pushing in the mid lane, but it's a 3-on-2, and you have TP.
Depth charge. TP immediately coming in now from Billy Boss. He throws down the W. Nobody is getting onto his Kog'Maw, and they are going to be on the inhibitors now. There are no members in the Dignitas base of Renegades or Dig. Everybody's here to fight, and it is now inside Renegades. The next...
Oh, Seraph!
Seraph did go. Yeah, there's the TP. I was waiting. I figured I'd see somebody over here. It's going to be right onto the Nexus. We may get the kill here from Seraph. The fight onto Dignitas, and it is going to be huge. Damage is down to 1 hit. Seraph with the fire. We called the top laner would make plays in his substitution, and Seraph comes forth to do so. Renegades takes down Team Dignitas.
And he gets Renegades their 2nd win of the season, and he breaks the losing streak.
Sign that guy up.
He's got a team already. I heard he's got a team in Challenger playoffs.
Never fails that Renegades will huddle in their camaraderie and do a quick kind of pump about the game and say, great job, we played our best, we did our best, and now this one it pays off that they can do it for the victory again, that they have stuck together in that strength and that mentality and kept that camaraderie.
Win or lose, the squad has been working on their synergy.
Yes.
And today, with a substitute that they've only had for 2 days, old teammates.
Kiwi Crumbs.
Get that win. Desperately need to win here for the Renegade squad.
Come through,
You
coming
can see
through.
how good it feels. It's that catharsis of losing so much and having all of those pieces. It's so frustrating where you go, we had that game. We were winning at 15 minutes. We were winning at 15 minutes. That one, over and over again. And now everything just fell into place this game. They got those last fights. They had to pull out some tricky moves at the end. So not everything is just roses at this point. Still have a lot to work on here for the Renegade squad, but they can definitely savor this victory over Dig.
Coming into that game, 4-0-6. We talked about Freeze. You kind of said he's always played up but not on that team where he can show. Well, if it's consistent and he keeps putting up numbers like that in difficult games around a team that may be struggling for a moment, it definitely shows quite a good amount of play. Kiwi Kid on your screen, strong as well. He talked about it before the game, the initiations from Hakuo. We saw how great the depth charges were there, initiating everything. It's pretty easy to point and click, but making sure you have the right targets after that is something Renegades started to do in those fights, because we saw 2.5 that didn't exactly work in their favor, deja vu style, and then that one did.
Yeah, they actually had a lot of great engages from the flanks on Renegades, which takes a lot of coordination. It's not the
Dig was holding those off fantastic.
Exactly. Dig is grouping up, and I loved the one that happened in mid lane that allowed them to take those 2 Nexus turrets.
Yeah.
And it was where Alex threw in the claw, and then everybody on Dignitas grouped up, and then Alex didn't take the claw. And then suddenly, all the damage from Renegades came out, and then they walked forward. Dignitas was like, oh, I guess the claw's down, and Alex isn't coming in. And they couldn't get in, and then they walked back. Alex did it again, but this time he took it, and he was able to lock everybody up, and that's how they got that fight. There's just those mind games.
Pure trial and error, right?
Yeah, it's really,
figuring that out on the spot. All right, what a crazy game. Let's send it down to Freak to see what Renegades 80